Welcome to Authentically You Podcast, the podcast that dives deep into a transformative journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-expression. I'm your host, Kirsty Hankin, and I'm here to guide you on a path towards embracing your true, unapologetic, authentic self. In this podcast, we'll embark on a quest to uncover the secrets to breaking free from societal expectations, shredding the masks we wear, and stepping into our own power. Each episode will explore the questions and challenges that our listeners face on their personal journeys, providing practical insights and heartfelt advice. But it doesn't stop there. Authentically You Podcast goes beyond just answering your questions. We're here to introduce you to a diverse lineup of incredibly knowledgeable professionals who will share their expertise, wisdom, and experiences. We'll bring you thought-provoking interviews that will inspire and empower you. This is Authentically You Podcast, unleashing life on your own terms. I'm Kirsty Hankin, and together, let's unlock the power within and live life authentically. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're in this together. Welcome to the Authentically You Podcast, and thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited. We've got the amazing Sarah Jane in the house. Now, Sarah Jane is the founder of Step by Step, and she lives in Swindon in Wiltshire, UK. Sarah Jane's core value is authenticity, especially with her social media posts. She often posts live feeds straight from the sweaty workout and realizes that people she wants to reach are often made to feel inadequate through social media. That is why authenticity is so important to her. She is working tirelessly to raise awareness of the growing food addiction that is causing an obesity crisis in her home country. Not just her home country, I believe it'll be around the world. Trying to make people understand that it is a lack of self-worth, self-belief that drives any addiction. Sarah transformed her health and fitness after reaching over 21 stone in weight, and her weight had started to have a negative effect on her physical and mental health. Sarah has extensive experience with weight loss and can help you make the lifestyle changes to become the person that you want to be. Welcome, Sarah. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you,
Kirsty. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No problem. Tell us about your journey.
So, I'm 52 now, and I started my journey when I was 26 because my periods had stopped. Mm-hmm. So I'd gone to my doctor, and I hadn't weighed myself for ages, and I was totally in denial about my weight, and I thought I weighed about 14 or 15 stone max, and I got on these great big old-fashioned dial scales that only went up to 20 stone, and then when I got on there, they went round, and then they went round even more, and I was horrified, gobsmacked, speechless that I weighed that much. And the GP was very standoffish and was like, well, you're eating yourself to death. And it was clear from my body language and that I was mentally not in a good place. And I would like to think that if that happened now, it would be treated very differently. But unfortunately, I left the GP's appointment in tears and just thought, the thing is, I was an emotional eater, Kirsty. I was in a really bad abusive relationship from the age of 14 to 28. So all that did was compound my low self-worth. I wasn't a very confident child. I just craved love and affection. So if I was given anything, I felt grateful for it. So I used to eat in secret. He would say hurtful comments, and then I would turn to food. We led very separate lives, had a lot of time on my own. and I would just eat, and it was always sweet food because I associated that with love, because my gran used to bake cookies and cakes,
mhm.
and so that's what I did. I was basically self-medicating. But
Yeah.
any addiction is, you don't feel enough, so you're looking for something external
Hmm.
to make you feel better, whether that's shopping. You think, oh, if I have that dress, I'll look pretty enough, or if I have, you know, anyway, you know it doesn't work. And I couldn't believe that I weighed that much. Honestly, I was gobsmacked. And I really, really look back at that GP appointment as a crossroads in my life, because I could have gone one way or the other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what
And
the GP actually said to you could have easily pushed you over the top.
yeah, it was very triggering,
Yeah.
because the way she spoke to me as well, it's like I was not an intelligent person. She was
Yeah.
like very slow and patronizing, and I felt like I was at school being told off. I thought, gosh, I'm not 5 years old, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was a crossroads. And I mean, I was a serial dieter, like we all
Yeah.
are. You know, that diet industry's inbred in us. And by the time I was 14, I'd already done. So in the UK, we have something called the Cambridge diet, where you just have like 3 milkshakes a day. I was
Okay.
doing that at 14 years old with not eating any
Wow.
food.
Yeah.
And then I went to Weight Watchers, was a totally humiliating experience, to stand up and get weighed in front of everyone and then go around the room and tell everyone how you've done. It was
Yeah.
horrendous. And then again, that low self-worth, it doesn't
Hmm.
make you feel good. So it was all based on me hating myself and wanting to look a certain way. Whenever I'd failed at losing weight, it was because I thought, I want to be a size whatever, or I want the scale to say this number. But this time, the difference was, I need this to be healthy. I need to lose some weight to be healthy. And that was
What
the
made the
game
change?
changing. I I I wanted to have children, and
Hmm.
I knew that that was not going to happen at the weight I was. So I had to look at everything. It was a big decision, but ultimately it saved my life, because I thought, I'm not going to talk to this about anyone, because I felt great shame about my
Yeah. Hmm.
disordered relationship with food, really ashamed and embarrassed and very, very lonely, which is why I started my support group, because I didn't want anyone to experience that on their own, because
Yeah.
I believe that sharing things with other people is very healing. And
Absolutely.
and that's why I want to keep what I do as real as possible.
Hmm.
And so I literally started, because I was so large, Kirsty, I'd get pointed at in the street. I remember sitting in restaurants and having
Wow.
people, groups of lads, laugh at me. You know, I love my Swindon Town football. I remember going to the football match and getting stuck in the turnstile. I
Wow.
remember going on an aeroplane and the seatbelt not fitting around me. So I'd really suffered humiliation. So I thought, right, I'm just going to start by walking every day.
Yeah.
So I used to wait for it to get dark at night until it was like 9 o'clock at night, and then I would go out. And I literally started by walking half an hour a day.
Yeah.
And within like 2 weeks, I felt better. My breathing was easier. I could get up the stairs at home
Yeah.
easier. So that is how I started. One little thing like that. And
Yeah.
then that
Just half an hour a day.
created this, yeah, this created this, oh, a bit of a feel good
Yeah.
mentally. Then that helped my mental health. And so then I started drinking more water, because I literally used to drink coffee and
Yeah.
full sugar Coke. That was all I drank. I didn't even drink water. I dread to think how dehydrated my body was. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I started. Little gradual changes at a time. My periods restarted, because the
Wow. Yeah.
body is an amazing machine, how it heals itself.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, because I had something called polycystic ovary syndrome, which was caused by my excess weight.
Mm.
And when I lost the weight, the last time I had my ovaries scanned, they had gone.
Yeah.
So the body is really amazing, and you can change. I was always told when I was growing up, "Wow, you'll always be a big girl," and
Yeah.
people make these
Oh,
throwaway
I know.
comments.
Big boned. Yeah.
Yeah,
All those
well,
things.
you're always going to be a big girl, love. You're never going to be a skinny mini. So have a bit
Yeah.
of cake, have a bit more cake. So yeah, and it's not helpful. And those comments and those thoughts, they stay in your head,
They really
and they
do.
tell you, they're like a narrative for your life, aren't
Yeah.
they? Especially when they're said when you're young, because that's your
Yes.
formative years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just one thing at a time went on to have two children. And then when I had my second child, he was 6 months old. And that relationship had gone from verbal abuse to physical abuse. And so I ended that relationship at the age of 28. I had a 6 month old and a 20-month old. And
What
by
gave
that,
you the strength for that?
wow, that is another interesting comment, because my low self-worth,
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that question actually, made me think, oh wow,
Yeah.
I deserve this.
Yeah.
I don't deserve any better, because he would tell me every day, "You're a fat, ugly bitch, and no one else will want you." I used to get
Yeah.
told that every day, and I believed it to be true. And so I thought, oh, and he had control of all the finances. I didn't even have my own bank account. The car was in his name, and he took everything away from me. Luckily, our house was in joint names, and I started again at the age of 28. And by that point, I had lost 6 stone. So after my second child, in the period of 2 and a bit years, I'd had two babies and lost 6 stone.
Yeah.
And that was just through walking, trying to cut out the processed foods, because I find those really triggering for me because
Yeah.
of all the sugar, the salt. The more you eat, the more you want. So I just ate basic food, home cooked foods, and started again. And that's when I joined a gym. So
Yes.
at 28 was the first time I'd joined a gym.
So you obviously felt better about yourself to go to the gym,
Yeah.
otherwise you wouldn't have.
Well, I think my children, I left that relationship for my children because I thought they
Yeah.
deserved better. I couldn't do it for me,
Yeah.
but I had a daughter as well. And I thought, what am I doing? What am I showing her? If I
Yeah.
stay and I'm treated like this, what am I showing her?
Yeah.
And luckily I left when they were babies, so yeah, I
They wouldn't
I,
have
I
seen
got
you
out for
doing much.
them, Kirsty. Yeah, I got out for them, and actually, I'm so glad I had my children. I'm really proud of them, and raising them was one of my greatest achievements. But they inspired me again because of that lack of self-worth. I thought I want to be the fit and healthy mum running around with
Mhm.
them. We were
Yeah.
always outside, running around. And the reality of being 21 and a half stone was I couldn't have done those things.
Yeah.
I used to get out of breath going up the stairs to go to bed. It was
Yeah.
exhausting. Everything hurt. And so, yeah, I made it all about my health, because every magazine I read was so toxic. It was like, go and burn some calories, shred your body,
Yeah.
do all these. And everything was really extreme. And I can't begin to tell you, what I did was the total opposite of that. And because everybody wants a quick fix, they go all out, but you can't sustain it.
No.
You can't
Yeah.
sustain that.
Yeah.
So
So
that
it's
that
really,
is my approach.
yeah, it's really beautiful that you said that it just get started with 30-minute walk
Mm,
just to get started, and you can see those results within
mm,
a couple of weeks. Breathing was feeling
yeah,
better, you felt mentally better. I've worked in a gym and seen people come in with all the enthusiasm in the world, go absolutely crazy hard for 2, 3 days,
yeah,
and then we never see them again because they
yeah.
just are going way too fast. They want the results, but their body
Mm,
is not ready for that. You can't just
no,
come in and 100% and just go flat tack.
no,
It's not
no.
sustainable.
No, and the thing is as well, like I had 26 years of basically abusing my body with really high sugar food,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to change that in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to look at as well, whatever age you are. Think, well, I've been doing this for, say I'm 30, for 30 years. So how on earth can you expect, when they call it, is it the 6 week shred or the
Yeah.
12-week shred? How can
Challenge,
you
whatever it is.
change,
Mm.
yeah, 30 years of, you know, overeating, not exercise? How can you change all of that in 3 months? It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So we're
Especially,
getting sold a lie
yeah.
by social media, magazines, newspapers. And I know we were talking earlier, Kirsty, about even that 10,000 steps. We've had that
Yeah.
rammed down our throats for years.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, they've backpedaled on that and said, actually, 4,000 steps a day is enough.
Yeah.
So it's not extreme, it's consistency. Consistency is key to
Mm-hmm.
everything and to sustaining it, because 97% of people can go on a diet and lose weight,
Yeah.
because, you know, some of them are so restrictive as well, you know, and yeah, you're going to lose weight. If you just eat chicken and broccoli, if you just eat a plate full of salad, you are going to lose weight. Can you sustain that?
Mm.
And is it making you happy? Because the food I eat is joyful food. It's
Yeah.
colourful, it's nutritious, it makes me feel good, it's tasty.
Yeah.
And that's how I can sustain it,
Yeah.
you know, and only 3% of people sustain the weight that they lose. So
That's
it
incredible, isn't it?
proves that my methods work.
Yeah.
I'm living proof that it works. And it infuriates me because the diet industry has a 97% failure rate, yet it's a multi-billion pound profit industry.
That is insane. It is
It
absolutely
is. And
insane.
I think what makes me really sad, Kirsty, as well, is it preys on us not liking ourselves.
Yeah.
It preys on us
Mm.
hating ourselves, because you can be like this, you can look like that, but what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me
Yeah.
being me? And I always say I love my imperfectly perfect body. My body is
Oh,
perfect for me, but it's imperfect, obviously, 52, but it's perfect for me. And I'm
yeah.
always so grateful whenever I exercise. I mean, I took up running at the age of 40 because I'd been going to the gym for 12 years, and I found that indoor environment, I was getting a bit fed up with being indoors.
Yeah.
So at the age of 40, as a little treat to myself, I signed up on a beginner's course and I did the couch to 5K,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it. And I got a bit addicted. So I've run over 50 half marathons, 4 full marathons, and London Marathon twice.
Wow.
So I
Congratulations.
was, yeah, but again, I was one of the slowest runners in my club. I didn't
Yeah.
care,
Yeah.
because how could I compare myself to someone that had run at school, run for the county, was a super duper, you know,
Yeah.
like a greyhound whippet?
Yeah.
That wasn't my journey. My journey was, I started running at 40,
Yeah.
and no one can take those medals away from me. Don't
Yeah.
don't my advice to anyone is, do not compare yourself to
Oh, that's
anybody else. You be you, and love you for being you.
that is
And
that is beautiful. How do we do that more? How do we
yeah,
start doing that? Because it is something that I
yeah,
think we all really know, but don't know how to
mm,
put into action, right?
yeah, it is. I think it comes with, Kirsty, self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Today
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, today this is where I am. And I think, especially with food, look at the reasons why you're eating. So
Mm-hmm.
every time I got criticism from that toxic relationship, I would turn to food. I used food like it was my friend. I felt empty inside, lack of love. And so I would eat food to feel full. I was trying to fill a void of self love. So that was my reason why. So to, if you're starting on your journey, look at why do you turn to food? We know that people at work quite often say, you know, when you're in the office at work, they might say, I've had such a bad day, I'm going to get a bottle of wine on the way home from work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a few glasses of wine tonight because it's been such a bad day. But nobody says, do you know what? I've had such a bad day. I'm going to go to the supermarket on the way home. I'm going to buy a family-sized cake, 3 packets of biscuits, and 4 chocolate bars. Well, that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
Packet of jam donuts. I'd eat them in the car before I even got home.
Yeah.
So, but nobody talks about it. It's very taboo.
No. Yes.
So look at your reasons. Why am I doing this? Am I hungry? I always ask myself that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hungry? Do you want this? Do you need this? And but accepting where you are today. Look at something like, this is where I am today. Where do I want to be tomorrow? And that's where I started. I wanted to, and the answer to my question was, I want to be healthier tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to be a mum. I want to be a fit and active mum. And I'm not going to do that with the eating habits that I've got. It's not achievable. So I was putting barriers, a little bit of self-destructive behavior, because I didn't think I was worth being the best version of myself.
Yeah.
After all, like we said, I was told you're always going to be a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
And those thoughts stay in our heads, don't they?
Yeah.
So I didn't believe that I could be. So the first is accepting where you are, and then talking to yourself nicely. You know, I would, if I made a mistake, the way I talk to myself, I would never talk to my friends the way I would. You know, if you make an error, oh, you stupid cow, why you've done that wrong. And I wouldn't talk to my friends like that. I'd be like, oh, don't
we
worry
are
about
really
it.
harsh on ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah. So really start noticing the way you talk to yourself, and try and be your own best friend, and think about the things that you do like. You know, if you like your hair, or you know, if you think, oh, I've got really nice eyelashes, or just think about something like that, and a little act of self-love. So it may be that I worked with one lady, she was addicted to crisps. Every night she would sit and eat family packets because she said, I'm not even hungry, I'm just bored. Yes. So she used to paint her nails because she said, I can't put my hand in the packet then. But she said, I felt great sitting there looking at my nice nails, and then all of a sudden she didn't want the crisps. I thought, this is a brilliant idea. Awesome. You know, a little act of self-love. Put a treatment mask on your hair or a face pack. Do something to be kind to yourself. You know. And the good thing about where I started from as well was the walking didn't cost any money. Yeah. It's free. Yeah. You know. And we can all think of reasons not to do things.
Absolutely, the excuses.
Yeah, but it's got to come down to your reasons why. You know, motivation doesn't come and knock on your door. It starts with action. Mm-hmm. And that really goes back to the beginning of my story. When I just started walking, I probably wasn't very motivated, but after 2 weeks, it kicked in. I took some action, and that motivation spurred me on to make the next change, which was, you know, bringing water in. And then that felt better. So that action spurred me on and motivated me. So in order to get motivated, in order to change, you need to take action. Mm-hmm. And that's hard. But it may be that you know, this is why I want to build a community that talk about food addiction, because accountability is everything. If you've got a friend that you're meeting to walk, you will go. You will go if it's raining. You know, you'll just put a waterproof on and probably have great fun laughing in the rain, walking together. Yeah. But you will never regret it. The only time you regret it is if you don't go. Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, we were talking earlier. I've lost a lot of friendships that hurt.
Yes.
But the more authentic I've been, the more myself I've been, and the more open I've been, I just attract different people into my life that are really supportive, that are really like, so for instance, I've got some arthritis issues in my knee at the moment, so I haven't been able to run much at all this year, but I've just gone back to the walk running. And I met her for coffee yesterday, and I was saying to her, you know, I'm starting right at the beginning. She was like, right, just wipe the slate clean. Don't compare yourself to what you used to be able to do. And she said, let's go out together next Tuesday and I'll do a walk run with you. That's the type of friend I've got.
That's
Not
a good one.
that is, but that is all I want in my life now. And as yourself,
That's all you deserve in your life too, don't you? You don't need those negative Nancy's in your life to bring you down, because it possibly takes you a step backwards when all you want to do is move forward, right?
Yeah. And then if you go backwards, the old coping mechanisms coming in, and my coping mechanisms is eating. And so, it's all just been a journey, Kirsty. It's not, you know, but it's all evolved quite naturally as well, which is, again, not this quick hard fix thing. It's been a gradual thing, which is why I think that my body
is all about, is the journey. It's about the universe or whatever providing you what you need when you need it. And rather than you going, oh, I need this, I need that, I need to do this, I need to do that. That's not how it works. When you're authentic, things happen, ideas come to you, opportunities come to you, the right people arrive in your life. You know, it's the most magical, beautiful journey. It's challenging and it's hard in some places. But it is a magical journey.
And like, when I look back at, it has been hard, especially with what I've experienced, you know, in an abusive relationship. But actually, that's made me who I am today. And I think I have great empathy for others. So I started educating myself a lot about what goes into food. And this highly processed food that is really cheap and available 24/7 is made to be highly addictive. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, that's why. And actually our bodies, our tummy and our brain is linked. And when we eat this food that's full of chemicals, our brains don't even recognize that as food. And that's why we can eat so much of it, because it never fills your appetite up, because your brain doesn't even recognize that you're eating, because it's not food. It's chemicals that have been made to taste like food, but are an awful lot cheaper to produce. So again, that's a money making scam.
Gosh,
that we're just being little pawns in the game, you know.
I had one diet consultant once upon a time that said to me, which has always stuck with me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so true. And I'm not sure if it's the same in the UK, but in the supermarkets here in New Zealand, all of the good fresh fruits, you know, what do you call them?
Produce.
All the produce fresh and all the good stuff where you're on the outside against the walls. Everything in the sales are processed and made for us to get. So try and get as many things on the outside of the wall, the supermarkets, and you're going to feel better and eat better. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. It just blew my mind. I was like, wow.
But again, we're just used, aren't we? In my local supermarket, when you walk in, they have whatever's on offer at the week. They have a big display of it, and it is always cakes, biscuits, beige, a lot of beige, chocolate. You never walk into a lovely, colourful fruit platter. It's, you know.
You're right. You're right.
In our country as well, to eat healthy is far more, it costs far more.
Same here.
Than, you know, and we've got the cost of living crisis as well. So yeah, it can be tough, but you can work around that because I eat healthily and I eat a lot less meat than I used to. I am a meat eater, but I'm a massive fan of the beans and pulses and lentils. And I've learned so much about food. And I didn't even know that those sorts of things contain protein. I
Yeah.
always thought protein was meat.
Mm.
So I have educated myself along the way. I'm not a qualified dietitian. I don't claim to be.
Yeah.
My experience is a lived experience, and I'm one of only 3% of people that keep the weight off, that lose it. So that's my expertise in the area. But I have educated myself about food because it helps me make better food choices. And something that my body has got really good at is the better quality foods I've eaten is when I eat something that is maybe got a lot of sugar in, I'll get
Mm.
heart palpitation. It really, my body really reacts to it now. And it's almost
Ah,
like it's saying to you, Sarah, we don't want
yeah.
any more of
What's
this.
the
But,
doing?
but I've tuned into that, Kirsty.
Yeah.
So your body is so fascinating. Yeah, I
Wow.
get heart palpitations if I have anything with too much sugar in it.
Yeah.
And anything that has fried or greasy, my stomach will bloat.
Ah.
So it, and literally very quite extreme. So yeah,
Do you think
it
you
has
had
been,
those sort of reactions prior to understanding that? And
yes.
when you were eating them more
Mm,
prior to being where, you're at the start of your journey, do you think you had those reactions, but you just didn't notice them or?
yeah. Yeah, I just probably thought that that was how everybody was.
Yeah.
I remember always carrying a packet of we have things in the UK called Rennies. It's anti-acid
Oh, yeah.
indigestion.
Yeah.
And I just used to have a packet of them. I would eat them just like peppermints.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
I don't even have any in my apartment now.
Hmm.
So it's really funny how you think that you need all these other things, and actually you just need to cut out that
Yeah.
certain food.
Yeah.
The one food that I do not eat, and that was again through choice, is bread. I
Hmm.
haven't eaten that for over 20 years. Again, because my body reacted so extremely every time I ate it with bloating, really severe.
Yeah.
Um, so I just choose not to, and I don't miss it now. I
Yeah.
don't miss it. It was hard at first because everywhere in the UK we have sandwiches everywhere. So if you go to places, it's like, have you got anything else that I can have that's not bread? Or I buy a sandwich and just eat the filling. It's
Yeah.
a lot of money to pay out. So yeah, but you do find other things. And I absolutely love my life now
Yeah.
and the opportunities that have come my way, the people I've met. I know that I wouldn't be experiencing any of this had I not lost weight. So just by changing one little thing at the beginning, I had no idea it was going to lead me to this journey. And
Yeah.
actually, at the beginning, if I'd have thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to lose 12 and a half stone, that would have made me feel completely overwhelmed
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
sent me running
Yeah.
to the supermarket for food. So don't look too far ahead. If you want to change, if you want to get healthier, just think about today. And instead of saying, I'm going to go on a diet, because the minute you say, I'm going to go on a diet, you're automatically saying you're going to come off of it. And get up every day. Every day I get up, I think, today I am choosing to be healthy. I'm choosing to. It's a choice and I love it. And going back to my self worth, when I exercise now, Kirsty, I feel so empowered as a woman.
Yeah.
I feel strong. I
Yeah.
feel more confident. So it brings all those endorphins in my brain. So it's amazing that you can get that from exercise. It's a very, very, very powerful, powerful tool that can change your mindset from negative to positive. So I would encourage anybody, first thing to do is get out the door, get out in the fresh air, put your trainers on. It doesn't have to be all guns a blazing and hundreds of pounds spent on things. Just basic stuff. And talk to someone, because I can guarantee you will not be the only one in your friendship group.
And that's the thing. I think that's why I think it's brilliant that you're talking about this and bringing it to everyone's attention, because it is something that is hidden. It is something that is being, people are ashamed of.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there, you're not the only ones in the situation. There's so many people doing it. So to have that support and someone being open like yourself to show what you've been through, how you can change, what you need to do to move towards it without the massive fitness, the cut all your food out and eat a salad. You're doing it in your most authentic way, and that's how you are going to move towards your greatest self, as being authentic to you and your body and your journey, because everyone is different. Everyone has a different journey, similar maybe some parts, but we're on our own journey. We need to listen to our inner self a little bit more, don't we?
Oh, completely. Because it will tell you, your body, like my body tells me everything I need to know about what to eat and what not to eat by the way it reacts. It's like, no, we don't want any of this, or we need more of this. And I find that now when I crave things as well. So the other day I went shopping and I saw some, I thought I really want some basil. And I didn't even know why. And when I looked at the health properties of it, it's really good for taking down inflammation and arthritis. So this little niggle I've got with my knee, I was like, oh, so my body was telling me to eat basil, and that'll be why then, because it wants me to take the inflammation out of my knee. It's a very, very clever machine. But going back to the support, I run a weekly, and I do a subscription, and I'm live every week, and I research a different topic. So like, so many things can affect your weight loss. So last week, one of the members had asked me to go away and research sleep. She said, I've got such a terrible sleep pattern. So I did loads and loads of research, and was amazed to find, Kirsty, that sleep is one of the 3 biggest barriers to people not losing weight, not being able to lose weight. And I just couldn't believe that it would be that profound. And so I did loads of research on it, and like we talked about it for like an hour, and at the end, and so we'll have different topics each week, and then members ask me questions, or they can say, could you go away and find out about this for me, Sarah, and then we'll come back and discuss it as a group. And it's a safe place for people to share, because I honestly believe that sharing is healing. And we all feel better, don't we, when we talk about our problems? So if we could talk about, do you know what, I'm really struggling to control what I'm eating, because I felt that the food had power over me. I didn't have control of my eating, it had control over me. And that was a scary place to be, as the scales were getting higher and higher and higher. What was also frightening was the ease at which that weight went on. That's what scared me, because I thought, well, where will this, if I carry on, where's this going to end? So it is frightening. But also, don't criticize yourself for it, because be empathic to yourself, because those foods are made to be like that. That's why they're like that, and those companies don't care if they're giving you type 2 diabetes.
Absolutely. They've worked on their advertising, they've worked on their marketing, their packaging, all to entice us into getting them, right?
And it's everywhere, isn't it? I mean, even subconsciously, wherever we go, there's food being thrown at us. It's on the in the bus shelters as you drive along on the road. You've got big posters
Yeah.
of burgers and pizzas and fried chicken, and it's everywhere, and 24/7 now as well.
Did you know that they have and I found this just like what?
Yeah.
They have in the supermarkets, they have all the treats and stuff for kids at eye level for kids, like the kids' eye level. So
Oh,
they are actually looking at them, going, "Oh, Mum, can I have this? Mum, can I have this?" I couldn't believe that.
shocking. It's shocking how much we are manipulated. Really shocking, isn't it?
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely. So with your
yeah,
membership, I mean, that sounds like an amazing membership. £15
yeah,
a month, and
yeah,
it's personalized coaching. Like you get to
yeah,
talk and ask questions to you.
yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. And
Thank you.
I know that you've got, we'll put the details in the show notes for anyone that is interested and can get in
Yeah,
contact with you and join your membership. That is a total, absolutely, yes, you have to do that.
yeah,
£15 a month. Wow, that's
yeah,
incredible. With when you were talking about changing the way that you think and implementing or looking at things that you like about yourself, there's a way that I do it with my clients where I get them to be conscious of what they're thinking about. So once they say something negative about themselves, well, for the first couple of days, just notice the negative talk that they're talking to themselves about. Then once they catch themselves doing it, catch it in the act. Because
yeah,
if you start saying, like, you want to say, "Oh, I can't do this," and you catch it. So you say, "Oh," in your mind, "I can't," and you say, "Stop." Literally,
yeah,
just stop. The rest of that sentence just evaporate.
yeah,
It goes away, and just flip it in with a positive. So I can do this. I might just need a little bit more time. So you can just flip it around, and that's how you can start changing the way that you think. But you have to be conscious of what sort of stuff you're telling yourself.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
with the things that you love about yourself, I get everyone to write a list of everything that they love about themselves. And I get them to read it every morning and every night so that
Oh, that's
they're training their subconscious back into believing and bringing the things that they love out even more so, because we don't shine our really good qualities as much
no,
as we should do. So when we're using repetitiveness and consistency, like you said, we start changing that subconscious mind and changing the way that things are, our beliefs and our habits. So it absolutely is consistency. I love that.
I love that as well. Stop, because
Yeah.
you're just ending it, aren't you? You're ending that thought there, and yeah, and it's a really good idea to read those in the morning and at night, the things you like about yourself. Because if someone has got really low self-worth, when you say to them, "Oh, you just need to love yourself," you're like, "Well, how do you even start?"
Even
That
me,
feels
yeah.
huge, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good
And
idea.
it's like
Really
how
good
you
idea.
said before, just little steps with everything that you're trying to change in your life. Just do it one step at a time. Do it day by day. Like, don't start thinking about, "Oh, I have to lose 50 kgs or I have to do this." It's put it in little stepping stones and just start
Yeah.
day by day. I love that, getting out and walking for 30 minutes, and after 2 weeks you felt that change. Like, that is awesome, and that is a fantastic start for anyone that thinks that they
Yeah.
can't do it.
And
That's
who would think that something is so simple? They don't plaster that all over social media when they're selling you their 12-week shred for 100 quid, are they? They're not saying, "Oh, let's just go out and walk. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything.
exactly.
You might like yourself a bit more afterwards." Because what infuriates me is we're really good at not liking ourselves. And that
Yeah.
whole diet industry just perpetuates that. You know, look, or you've got people selling weight loss products that have never been overweight, you
Yeah.
know, famous people. And it's like, well, really, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
I'm so I think because it did so much damage to me.
Yeah.
By the age of 14, having done 2 diets, and I think that
Where
really,
did that come
really.
from? Where did that come from at that age when you were a kid?
So this is mad because the trouble with, well, it wasn't the trouble that I started my periods really young at 11. So
Mm,
I had a woman's body by 14. I was very well developed. So I had boobs, a little waist, and curves. When I look back, I wasn't even overweight, Kirsty.
yeah.
I just had a woman's body. And all my friends were still straight up, straight down. They didn't start their periods till they're 15. I
Yeah.
wanted to be like them. I wanted to be
Yeah.
stick like them. But I had this woman's body that I hated.
Yeah.
And my mum just saw her daughter sad and thought, well, I better take her to Weight Watchers then. Bless her, she did. I can't lay the
Yeah.
blame at her door.
No.
And it's fact, I watched a really good documentary with Jonah Hill, the actor, with his psychiatrist Phil Stutz, and his mum was on there,
Mm.
and because he was an overweight teenager, and she'd put him on diets, and he said, oh, I thought it was because you didn't love me. And she said, no, I just had this child that was crying and I was trying to make you happy. And I thought, gosh, that must have been exactly how my mum felt. You don't know what to do as a parent. So yeah, it was interesting. But gosh, when I look back, if I could just hug that girl that I was, that child that I was, and say to her, darling, everything's going to be okay. You've just got a woman's body. That's all she needed to be told.
Oh,
But there you go.
yeah.
That started my journey, and I wouldn't be living a life had I not experienced all of that. I wouldn't be here today talking to you, would I?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was for a reason. It was part of my
Everything
journey.
is for a reason. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that because I'm still realizing, like, doing this podcast today, I think it was today or yesterday, I worked in recruitment for 9 years. And so I did lots of interviewing
Wow.
candidates and things. And
Yeah.
I was like, today I was like, that was moving me towards this. How incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a tough industry. Tough.
Oh, yes. Yes, very much so. Let's not talk about that industry.
No.
A whole nother episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know you've got a freebie for everyone. Tell us a little bit about that freebie.
So I have a YouTube channel that is free to subscribe to. And it's got so much stuff on there that's free for you all. It's advice, it talks about food. It will make you there's a brilliant one on relationships and if they're not supportive, and how I've lost friends and why, because they were trying to sabotage my progress with their own insecurities.
Yeah.
There's so much information on there. I think there's about 24-25 videos on there that are all free to watch, and I don't think there's one that you won't come away from having learnt something or take something.
Mm-hmm.
They're all solution based.
Yeah.
Videos. So yeah, that's completely free to subscribe to. My Facebook group has a daily post on, my Instagram has a daily post on, and they're all completely free. So there's a lot of stuff out there that's free. And on my website, I do a 5-week course as well that's available on there to book, and my membership group that's live every Thursday night, sorry. So you can sign up for all of that. It's on the website, and lots of information on the website as well. And we're going to add to that. We've been doing a lot of recipes lately, so that they'll be going up as well. Just different ideas to stop us getting bored with food as well. I'm always experimenting. So yeah, there's a lot of free stuff out there for you all to help and support you, because that's what I want to do. I don't want anyone to feel the loneliness, the sadness, the worthlessness, the shame. Yeah, the shame. That was the word that I felt. Yeah. And I have to say, I felt very stupid because my doctor made me feel like that. She talked to me like I was a child. It was so patronising. I'd love to meet her today.
I'd
and
love
have a little chat.
you need a video of that. And send it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So I'll put all that information up on the show notes for everyone. So if you want to work with Sarah Jane and get rid of her freebies. The last little thing is I've got a few questions, the fun questions for you. The first question is, if authenticity was a color, what color would it be and why?
I think my authenticity would be pink because I am a real girly girl, and I believe you can be a very strong woman and still be girly. I'm a tough cookie, but I'm also very pink as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So my authenticity is pink.
I love that. I love that. If you could be any animal to express your true self, which animal would you choose and how does it represent you?
I would be a black cat.
Yeah.
I had a black cat called Alvin for 11 years, and he was sent to look after me. He was my healing cat. He always knew when I was ill. He was by my side. He was so calming. If I was anxious, if I couldn't sleep, he'd curl up on me and we'd sleep. And he gave me so much joy and love and comfort that I would like to be that to somebody else.
Oh, that's so cute. And if you had a magic wand, which we know doesn't exist because you have to be consistent. But if you had a magic wand and everyone in the world had to follow one ruling you create, what would it be?
That's so hard. I think kindness. I think there's not enough kindness in this world. So I think if I had a magic wand, I would wave it and make everybody be kind to each other.
Imagine that. I can imagine it. It would be a lot nicer world, right? And that would mean we'd be kind to ourselves too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's including ourselves.
Yeah.
We just wand ourselves, Kirsty.
Oh, I love that. If only.
Yes, it
and my very last question is there anything that you would like to say to the audience to finish off? Is there anything coming through for you? What would you like to?
Yeah, I think I would just like to reach out and let anybody know. If you had told me that day in that doctor's surgery when I stood on those scales, I literally, if I could have jumped off a bridge that day, I would have. And if you would have told me I could be living the life I am living now, I would never have believed you. So I want you to know, if you really want to change, if you are sad and unhappy and you feel unhealthy, you feel addicted to food, you can change. Please know there is nothing special about me. I'm just me, a working mum, juggling, I just was consistent. And please know, if you want to change, you can. If I can do it, so can you.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I am sure that everyone is taking something away from this podcast. And I'll again put everything on the show notes. But thank you so much for being here.
Kirsty, it's been a pleasure. I've absolutely loved talking to you.
Oh, me too.
Absolutely loved it.
Okay, thank you. See you guys
soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Authentically You Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained some valuable insights. If you'd like to stay connected with us, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kirsty Impact Coach, or Become Authentically You on the Facebook group. We'd love to hear your thoughts, feedback and ideas for future episodes, feel free to drop us a message or leave a review. Your input means the world to us as we continue to grow and improve. Remember, living authentically is a journey, and we're so glad and grateful to have you with us on this path of self-discovery and personal growth. Until next time, always remember to be true to yourself, embrace your uniqueness, and live life unapologetically, because you are truly remarkable just the way you are. This is Kirsty, signing off on the Authentically You podcast. Take care and keep shining bright.